www.anxietycenter.com.
So I am kind of relatively new to the recovery process, I think. Just to kind of give a little bit of my background, I first, especially going through recovery and kind of learning more about anxiety, kind of realized I've been an anxious person most of my life, especially through my childhood. But I really, I had my first big panic attack or mental breakdown beginning of last year, 2021. And, I was, like others have said, I was kind of in that constant mode of just fear day after day for a long time. Got a little bit better, and then I started to become physically symptomatic for the first time. And I think that kind of set me down another spiral. So I have twitching. I've got 24/7, like nonstop, every second, twitching in both of my legs, or both of my calves, just to be specific. And a few other, I'll have sporadic twitching otherwhere in my body, but those don't really bother me much. So I think, I did the rounds with all the doctors, rheumatologists, neurologists, clean bill of health. So, now I'm really, I started to focus on it as anxiety, and through that I found your website, and it's been just an amazing resource. I've started working with anxiety scenario coach Helen about a month ago. I think we've had 4, maybe 5 sessions at this point.
Okay.
And I've found that to be immensely helpful as well.
She's one of our veterans. She's really good.
Yeah, she's great. Love Helen.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm struggling with the most is, when you have these persistent symptoms that are just going on every minute of every day. An important part of recovery, as I'm learning, is that you try to reduce the importance of that, right? Like you reduce the importance of thinking about the symptoms, so that they become more and more in the background of your life until you're just kind of not thinking about them. And I was just wondering if there were any specific tips or anything for, those persistent 24/7 nonstop symptoms.
Yeah. Yeah, because anxiety comes from behavior, the way we think about things, and it always comes from fearing something, looking into the future and fearing something. That's what drives anxiety. And because our symptoms are caused by the stress, caused by anxiety, they only go away when we stop stressing the body and give it time to recover. So by us looking at our symptoms as a danger, you see how that danger is going to create anxiety. That's going to keep feeling the stress. That'll keep the symptoms going. So that's not the way forward. Right. Worrying about symptoms does not solve them. It just keeps them going. So we have to move into that passive acceptance mode where we just allow them to be there. Yeah, they're symptoms. Don't like them. Yeah, they're 24/7. That's right. And leave it at that. Because if we do that, then we're not adding more stress to the mix, which is going to keep them going. So that's how we move forward. So really, when you think about it, from a worry perspective, an anxiety person perspective, you got 2 choices. You can worry about them, imagining that they're never going to go away, imagine that they might get worse, imagine that they're being caused by a medical condition, yada, 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 which is going to keep them going. Or you stop all that stuff and let the body recover. So the way through this is to stop it all. So then it comes our job to disconnect from the emotion of them and just let them be as the body recovers. It's when you think about it, it's pretty simple. Body stress is symptomatic. How we recover is get the stress down, let the body recover. But as an anxious person, we just fuel it. That's the thing that kept me going, is I did all that. Sure, my symptoms were there, and then it was like, what if it doesn't go away? What if it gets way worse? What if it impacts my life? What if it's an indication of a medical problem? And just all the what if. Well, that just keeps stuff going. So I had to say, no, I'm not doing any of that anymore. It's an anxiety trick. These symptoms are just there. It's going to do what it is, and I'm not going to worry about it. And it comes down to making a mental decision every time we notice our brain heading down the worry road.
Right. Using that kind of the stop intersection.
Yep.
And I've especially since seeing Helen, I've started to see some improvement, especially with psychological symptoms, but also, the physical symptoms are getting, a tiny bit better. But yeah, I guess it's kind of a practice and time thing, huh? You just kind of keep training your brain to.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the thing. There's no fast way through that. Because we do have to make the mental adjustment of not dwelling on our symptoms. Now, one thing I'll ask too is, on a scale of 0 to 100%, 100% being maximum, 0 being not at all, are you concerned about your medical health? Do you have a health and medical sensitivity?
I put it up there around 60 or 70. Okay. My main fear with the symptoms is that they won't go away. I trust that I don't have any serious underlying disease or illness. It's sort of just trying to really just get that into my head, Yeah, it's fine. It'll go away. And I've been fortunate to see specialists who have reassured me. I had a neurologist said that he's seen this before. Usually, whenever he sees a patient with this, he tells them that, it's fine, it'll go away. Then he never sees the patient again because it resolves.
Yep. Yeah. Because that's the thing, because a lot of people get really stressed. And a lot of people get symptoms. They just either tolerate them or ignore them. And it's just stress, whatever. Don't even give it a second concern. So their symptoms are going to dive down faster than someone who becomes concerned about them. Well, we're anxious because we become concerned about them, which just keeps them going. So in terms of symptoms won't go away, there is 100% guarantee if there's nothing medically wrong with you and you get your stress down, they're going to go away. There's no option because that's how the body functions. So you can use that to contain with when your mind says, well, what if they don't go away? What if I have to live this for the rest of my life? And, so you have to say, no, wait a minute, they will go away. These are just symptoms of stress. Kind of an analogy. It's like if you get a sliver and you pull the sliver out, sure, the area is going to be sore for, several days until the body heals. But we're not sitting there looking at it and thinking, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't get better? What if that gets really bad? And what if this and what if that? Because we don't give it any attention, it heals. But if we're going to be poking at it and irritating it and, scratching it, whatever, we're just going to keep it going. So that's why we have to get to that place of just passive acceptance. Yeah, they're there. Maybe I don't like them. So what? If there's symptoms of stress, they'll go away. All I have to do is focus on getting my stress down. Because that's what happens. The body works in that way. You get stressed down, symptoms disappear.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did have one other quick question, if I could.
Well, I just want to say, by the way, this is common, especially if you're just starting working at the recovery. It's super common because our fears will kick in and then we imagine the worst. And so it is going to take time for you to move to that place of passive acceptance. It does for everybody.
Okay, yeah. Because especially when they first started, I was obsessed about, the twitching and like trying to figure it out. And,
Yep.
As I've read on the site and been told by Helen that's, that makes it way worse.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's super common, especially starting. Yeah.
And I had another question regarding, because, there are physical or strategies to physically recover from your symptoms, like meditation, mild exercise. Helen is also recommending that I try to take like a little cat nap when I get home from work.
Yeah.
I had a question about the exercise specifically. If there's a balance between, if there's an activity that's maybe a little bit more strenuous, but it gives you, joy or kind of like a sense of fulfillment in your life, is there kind of a balancing act, or is it more of a hard line? No, just stay away from anything strenuous, for a while until you can kind of get your symptoms settled.
Yeah. No, it's not a hard line. It's something that you'll have to discover on your own where that line is, because there's great value in just maintaining your normal life and doing the things you like to do, even if it's mildly physically stressful. It's not going to do that much harm. We don't recommend hard, rigorous workouts like weight training, because it does really stress the body, and that's just going to keep the nervous system geared up and metabolism geared up and symptoms going. So you have to sort of dial those things back, but it's still good to find things that you like to do as long as it's not going to stall your recovery. The greatest barrier to recovery is always going to be worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've kind of gotten to the point where I worry a little bit about. So specifically, I like snowboarding in the winter. That can be, kind of physically taxing.
Yeah.
So I've kind of developed a worry about, if I go snowboarding, will that make my symptoms way worse? Or, because it's, yeah, like you said, the worry is probably the bigger problem there.
Yeah, I wouldn't see snowboarding as being that much of a problem. Now, if you were hiking uphill, up the mountain to snowboard, that would be a little different.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I had for you today. And yeah, thanks again for having me on, and it was great to hear from everyone else too. I can definitely relate to the kind of the places that everyone's been to. It was pretty dark for me as well for a while, but
yeah,
it's getting better.
Sounds good. Yeah, regarding the twitching, I struggled with twitching a lot back in the day, and it really bothered me a lot at the beginning because I couldn't stop it, and I had to go into meetings, and your body's twitching. There's nothing you can do, and everybody's noticing it, so that wasn't good. But it does all subside once that nervous system starts to cool down, and it all goes away. So it's not something you have to be concerned with. We see a lot of that. Yeah.
Okay. It's a pretty common one.
Pretty common. Yeah. Yeah. We see a lot of that. Yeah. And we also see, a lot of people in the early stages of knowing about anxiety and recovery is being concerned about it because it's something that's unusual happening to them. It's never happened before. But again, twitching is a super common symptom. A really classic indicator of high stress. So you get your stress down, do the recovery stuff, and give your body time and be patient. You'll see that'll subside as well. Okay.
Great. Well, thanks for your insight, Jim. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I wish every success in your recovery, and certainly, working with Helen, she'll go after those underlying factors for you. So that'll be all good things too. So keep up your good work.
Yeah, we're gonna go into the underlying factors next week, I think so.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
that'll be enlightening.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, actually, sounds good.
Thanks, Jim.
You're more than welcome. I wanted to thank everyone for joining in the call today and being vulnerable and being willing to have these conversations. It is so important that other people hear what we go through, because a lot of times we think we're the only one, or we think we're the worst case that there ever is. So it's nice to hear others are in a similar spot. And those who are making good recovery, it's great that you come back and have those conversations. John, I really appreciate you doing that as always. Marguerite, I know you've been working at it and you've come a long way from where we first started. That's really great. As you know, the recovery process works for everybody. You do the right things, the body gears down, and we get better. So it's always nice to have that reinforcement by those who recover. So again, I appreciate you coming back and offering those comments to reinforce everyone.
Well, thank you, Jim, for everything. Thank you.
You are more than welcome. We're more than pleased to help. So I wish everyone a great couple of weeks. We're going to probably be doing these again once every 3 or 4 weeks again. Be nice to have you come back. Just give us an update. I think the next one, I've been thinking about this, the next one I'm going to do one solely focused on barriers to recovery, what people are finding that slows them down or prevents them from making recovery. It'd be nice to get those out in the open too. So just watch for that. I'll be posting an announcement on the Recovery Support Members homepage when the next one will be. So again, I thank you very much, everyone, and I wish you all the best, and God bless, and take care.
Thanks, Jim.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.